Welcome to The Explainer. All right, let's talk about a word that gets thrown around all the time, but almost nobody really gets: strategy. Seriously, we hear it everywhere. But today, we're going to slice through all that noise and get down to what it actually means, and more importantly, how you can start thinking strategically.
Okay, here's how we're going to break this down. First up, we're busting some of the biggest myths out there. Then, we'll get into the real goal of strategy, what it's actually for. After that, we'll talk about a huge mindset shift you need to make, and I'll give you a framework to help you think things through. And finally, we'll totally reframe what strategy is all about.
Right. So, business strategy. You hear it in every meeting, you read it in every report. But what is it really? Well, it turns out one of the best ways to figure out what strategy is to get super clear on what it is not. And that's exactly where we're going to start. You know, a lot of what gets called strategy is, well, it's just fluff, right? A bunch of buzzwords and wishy-washy goals. It sounds great in a PowerPoint presentation for sure, but it doesn't actually do anything. So let's cut through all that and get to the good stuff. Okay, first up, your vision or mission. Things like, we're going to be the best, or the leading provider in our industry. Look, those are great aspirations to have, but they're not a strategy. A strategy is the how. It's the specific, tough choices you make and the actions you take to carve out a unique spot for yourself. And what about that big, detailed 5-year plan? Nope, that's not your strategy either. It's super easy to get those two mixed up. Here's a simple way to think about it. Strategy is your destination and why you're going there. The plan is the step-by-step roadmap of how you'll get there. You for sure need both, but they are not the same thing. Same goes for financial targets. Setting a goal like, let's increase our market share, is awesome. It's crucial. But those are the results you get from a good strategy, not the strategy itself. It's like this. Saying you want to grow sales by 20% is the destination on your map. Your strategy is the clever, unique route you're going to take to actually get there, maybe avoiding all the traffic everyone else is stuck in. And this next one, oh man, this is a huge trap. Best practices. So many companies just look at what the top dog is doing and try to copy it. But here's the kicker. By the time something is a best practice, it's not special anymore. It's not an advantage. It's just the bare minimum you have to do to even play the game. Okay, so if strategy isn't your mission, your plan, your goals, or copying the leader, then what the heck is it for? Why do we even bother? Well, the answer is actually pretty simple, and it's been around for a long, long time. Believe it or not, the word strategy comes from the military. It was literally about how to win a war, and that tells you everything you need to know. Strategy isn't about participating. It's not about just trying your best. It is about winning. And in business, that means winning in the marketplace. So what does winning even look like in business? It's not just about getting bigger or having more sales than the other guy. Winning means profitable growth. And that growth has to be powered by something special. A competitive advantage that your rivals can't just copy tomorrow. Something you can keep up for the long run. That's the whole point. All right, now we're getting to the absolute heart of this, the core of real strategic thinking. Because it's not just about what you're doing, it's about how you choose to compete. And honestly, this is where most companies get it totally backward. It takes a complete shift in how you see the world. See, the default setting for most of us is to compete to be better. We look at the competition and say, we can do that, but faster or cheaper. But that just leads to a big old copycat game. It's a race to the bottom on price, and nobody really wins. The real strategic move, the game changer, is to compete to be unique. You're not trying to build a better version of what's already out there. You're creating something different, something new that solves the problem in a way nobody else has thought of. And I really want this to land. Being unique isn't just some fluffy creative exercise for the marketing department. It is the direct source of your profit. It's that simple. When you have something that no one else has, you get to stop fighting over price. You get to set your own terms. Okay, so the big question is, how do you actually find that unique edge? Is it just a lucky break? A bolt of lightning? Not really. It comes from developing a specific kind of knowledge. And there's actually a framework for this. So let's check it out. Strategists have a cool name for this. They call it uncommon sense. What is that? It's true, useful knowledge that you have, but your competitors don't. It's an insight that you're willing to bet the farm on, even when everyone else is telling you you're nuts. Think about Netflix when they started streaming. The common sense was that people wanted DVDs. Their uncommon sense was that streaming was the future. Seemed crazy then, right? Well, that's what a game-changing insight looks like.
And we can actually map this out. This chart is a super powerful way to think about it. Look at that top left box. That's your gold mine. That's your uncommon sense. Your entire job is to make that box bigger. But just as important, look at the bottom left, your nonsense, the stuff you believe that's just wrong. You've got to be ruthless about getting rid of that. And then there's common nonsense, the myths your whole industry believes. Avoiding that trap is absolutely key.
And this isn't a one-time thing. It's a constant process. There are basically 4 moves you need to be making all the time. First, you've got to discover your own uncommon sense. Second, you have to discard your own nonsense. Third, you've got to learn from your competitors' uncommon sense, see what they know that you don't. And fourth, and this is a fun one, you relinquish common nonsense. Let your competitors waste their time on it.
Which brings us to really the biggest idea of all, the most powerful way to think about strategy. It is not a static document that you write up once a year, stick in a binder, and put on a shelf to collect dust. No way. It's so much more dynamic. It's alive.
This quote just nails it, doesn't it? Discovery is seeing what everybody has seen and thinking what nobody has thought. That is strategy in a nutshell. It's a creative act. You're looking at the exact same market, the same customers, the same problems as everyone else, but you're seeing a different answer, a different possibility. So, at the end of the day, what is strategy? Well, it's not a recipe. It's not a checklist. It's a process of discovery. It's about making deliberate choices to be different. It's a way of thinking so you can beat the average. It's a mindset. It's about having the guts to make those choices and to be unique. So I want to leave you with a question to chew on. What's the common nonsense in your world? What's that one thing that everyone in your industry just accepts as true, but maybe, just maybe, isn't? Because challenging that is probably where your next great strategy is hiding. Thanks for watching.